1, 2. Is this on?
An effective taunt is a surefire way to get the fans on their feet, especially when they know one of their favorite moves is on the way. A taunt can also be something that people can reenact themselves or simply just enjoy seeing. We'll look at some great examples today as we list 10 more wrestling taunts that hyped up the fans. Austin's middle finger. First, we have a universally recognized hand gesture that just so happened to fit Stone Cold Steve Austin's rebellious anti-hero persona perfectly.
Black boots, black tights, and Ric Flair in there as well.
Few could work a microphone like the rattlesnake, but a simple flip of the bird was often just as impactful as a promo. And when we saw Austin throw up the double birds, then we knew a Stone Cold Stunner was on the way.
People down there! Here it comes! And oh, wait! Oh, shit! Seconds out! Stunner! Austin! Austin with a stunner on Shane McMahon! Oh! Look out! There it is!
Steve had plenty of recognizable catchphrases, while at the same time also being well versed in sign language. John Cena's You Can't See Me. The You Can't See Me quickly became a trademark of John Cena's character. Cena first did it as a dare that was organized with his brother.
We're all at the house one day, and my youngest brother Sean started dancing, and he started doing a dance where he was moving his head around his hand. And I said, I'm getting that on TV.
But since the gesture fit Cena's rapper gimmick so well, he continued to use the taunt, which doubled up as a catchphrase.
You can't see me!
Eventually, the You Can't See Me taunt became a precursor to the 5 Knuckles Shuffle, which itself was a predecessor to the FU or Attitude Adjustment as it's known today.
Look out! I'm Cena saying, you can't see me. And it's a, you can't see me.
And according to John Cena, he's going to see a lot of Vicky Guerrero. Double 5-knuckle shuffle!
The fans always loved to replicate the You Can't See Me along with Cena. The You Can't See Me later began to take on a life of its own, to the point where today, Cena being invisible is a massive online meme that John himself has fully embraced.
People would take their picture with John Cena, which is simply like pointing at nothing. It's something that's been in the internet cycle for so long, but it still never gets old.
You can't see me.
The Dudley Boys get the tables. The Dudley Boys set the standard when it came to tag team wrestling in the late 90s with their smash mouth hardcore style that incorporated weapons. This helped them stand out when they came to the WWF, especially when it came to their use of tables. And as the duo and their table spots began to get more and more over, it was only fitting that the Dudleys established a battle cry that signaled when it was time to get wood. The Get the Tables phrase was born by accident after Devon forgot his spot in a match, resulting in Bubba therefore reminding him to get the tables. Bubba then began to use the phrase regularly, where he would first shout Devon's name before telling his brother to get the tables as the fans shouted along. Randy Orton pounds the mat. The RKO can be hit from absolutely anywhere, and whether the fans can see it coming or not, they always react huge. We all love to see a great RKO from out of nowhere, but it's also fun seeing Orton build up to the move by slamming his arms down on the mat. The taunt perfectly fits for the Viper, who just like an apex predator, stalks his prey before pouncing.
The Viper coiled. The RKO strikes as the Viper is thinking of striking.
Good night, Bo.
RKO!
Whether it's the RKO, the draping DDT, or the punt kick, Orton makes sure to create suspense.
Randy Orton is going to that place.
Oh, here we go.
Building up to each move by taunting and hyping himself up, which in turn hypes up the fans. They know exactly what's coming, and their reactions to the setup and eventual execution help Orton's signature moves mean so much more. Shawn Michaels tunes up the band. A crescendo is when a musical passage gradually increases in volume until it reaches its climax. In wrestling, the finishing move is the climax, while the taunting and prior build-up helps to reach the crescendo. For Shawn Michaels, this meant tuning up the band until he gave us some sweet chin music. HBK built his crescendo by stomping his foot on the mat, increasing intensity after each stomp, and as Shawn did this, the crowd rose.
Then you start to bring in a little more drama to it.
You know, faster and
and faster and faster, and the energy is building and building and building.
Michaels then produced sweet chin music. It all started with the stomp and ended with the super kick. The super kick alone was already one hell of a move, but Shawn made it his own by tuning up the band in the corner. It's something we've seen other wrestlers later adapt to their moveset, such as Seth Rollins and his setup for the curb stomp.
And this capacity crowd getting it together in Michaels. And the band is tuning up the favorite song. And yes, on a do you hear the band tuning up? I can hear it. Continues.
Edge sets up for the spear. Despite using the spear since his debut, Edge didn't begin to find true success with the move until adopting it as a finisher in 2004. And with that came the build-up. Edge would crouch down in the corner, flail his hair, and measure his opponent. The rated R superstar appeared deranged. To hit the spear, Edge needed to dig down deep. He couldn't wait to hit the move while the fans couldn't wait to see it. While Goldberg and Rhino's strength was steamrolling their opponents with the spear, Edge relied on building suspense while his facial expressions made him look like a man possessed.
He's gonna hit it with that.
While Edge benefited by being able to hit the spear in several different ways, he also found success using a more methodical approach. This was in keeping with his ultimate opportunist mindset. Who could forget the way he targeted his opponents when cashing in Money in the Bank, striking when the time was right, hunting in the corner with gritted teeth in anticipation of the spear.
That's sick piranha. He's a piranha that could be our next world champion. Not this way. Not this way. Damn it.
Eddie Guerrero's smirk. Eddie Guerrero had an infectious smile that was on show for all to see anytime Eddie hatched a plan to lie, cheat, and steal in a match. Typically, the opponent and referee would both be down, allowing Latino Heat to grab a weapon and plant it on his opponent just in time for the referee to wake up and catch the opposing wrestler red-handed.
The tradition called lie, cheat, steal.
It didn't always work out, but it was immensely entertaining every time. That's why Eddie's smirk became so iconic, because it was then that the fans knew they were in for a treat.
Eddie Guerrero, look at this! And that referee's out. And so's Kurt, but look at the look on Eddie's face.
It didn't matter that Guerrero was blatantly cheating to try and win. He did it in such an endearing and funny way that the people just loved him for it. Whenever the smirk came over Eddie's face, it was hard not to smile along with him. Then, once his subsequent pin either came off or failed, we were still smiling thanks to Guerrero's brilliance. The worm. Scotty 2 Hotty's use of the worm is a perfect example of how theatrics can be used in a wrestling match. The actual impact of the move is nothing more than a chop, but the setup and taunting done beforehand is what made the worm so popular. Scotty used a nice variation of the bulldog to bring his opponents to the mat. Then came the hop, stomp, squirm, and jump that was the worm. Jerry Lawler helped to add to the presentation on commentary by echoing the words that the fans would later begin to recite as Scotty executed the move. Unlike The Rock's People's Elbow, the worm rarely ever won Scotty a match, but that didn't stop it from being the best weapon in his arsenal, something the fans pop for every time. Roman Reigns gears up for the Superman Punch. When Reigns debuted as part of the Shield, one of the things that made him stand out was his use of the Superman Punch. Sure, he didn't have an extensive moveset starting out, but the Superman Punch was uniquely his. It looked great and garnered a strong reaction in no small part thanks to its build-up.
And look at Reigns. There they go. Superman Punch.
When Reigns cocked his fist and punched to the mat, it could only mean one thing. Even though it was only used as a secondary move, it still packed a punch. The Superman Punch could be hit from out of nowhere, but even when the opponent could see it coming, it was hard to avoid.
A little bit discombobulated. Superman Punch! Oh, we got him!
Reigns would later incorporate the Superman Punch taunt into his entrance, while the move itself remains a setup for the spear, a maneuver in which Reigns also has a special taunt for.
Go for the knockout punch! Superman Punch! Superman Punch! Look at that!
The Flair flop. Lastly, we have a taunt that technically did damage to the person performing it. However, it's so iconic, you just have to love it. Ric Flair sold so much for his opponents that he established numerous signature bumps he would take in matches. The iconic Flair flop was certainly the funniest, as the Nature Boy would be hit with offense, take a few steps, and then collapse to the ground by falling forward. Flair would act so punch drunk and out on his feet, it was hilarious that he could even still walk. However, it was even funnier once he did the flop.
Oh, Flair is really hurt. Just as taking care of business.
Flair's got moxie. Boy, he's mentally tough.
Look at him. Oh,
You had to plan offensively. Eddie Guerrero talked to him before the pay-per-view.
oh, the nosedive. Championship matches. Flair goes faceless. And Ric Flair has, he is down. But Nature Boy seems dazed here. Well, that eye is probably swelling shut. Look out. Oh, gosh. Those shots. Oh, wait. Watch Flair now. He's had enough. Oh, no. Man, look at that. Tucking away. And Ric Flair. And Flair in big trouble. Oh, no. He can't get knocked down. Well, they won't give him a chance to fall. There he goes. Chopping the hell out of Ric Flair, and Flair's somehow standing. Oh, look at Nate. He's ready. Oh, no! Turnabout is certainly fair play. Or Flair play. Where's the respect, JR? Oh, no! In this contest, and Shawn Michaels showing, obviously. Hang in there, Nate. Hang in there, Nate. Mike, hey.
And that brings us to the end of this video. As always, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you enjoyed this one, be sure to check out our first installment of 10 iconic special moves and taunts that hyped up the fans. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.